Ooh, oh boy, we're back. And we have no atobitt. This is, if you guys were catching up with how this man is trying to create the best DD that he has ever come out with since the everything short, since the walking like a duck, talking like a duck Citadel is in deep shisa, and the Citadel wears no clothes. This man is creating his modus operandi, the magnum opus of his work, which is the House of Cards DD. It is not complete yet. So if you guys saw on Twitter as well as the community tab, we mentioned that we are not going to press him, and I asked him about just roughly how long he's gonna take. So let's see. He has not responded yet. Oh, no, he has. So let's take a quick look. Seems like he's uncovered something. Let's find out what he's uncovered here. So he says, update, a House of Cards. He just uncovered something bigger than he expected and is fitting together better than I expected. With that being said, I'm still writing this up, being up all night. He is pulling nighters, all-nighters, cannot put it down. As much as I'm doing this for you, the filthy skunk apes, he's doing it for him too. He cannot absolutely rush this, he needs to be certain. Thanks for your patience. Yeah. So, big scissors in the chat for our boy, Mr. atobitt. Thank him for, thinking that he was ready today, trying to jump on, and he was not yet ready. We'll be here waiting for him when he is. So scissors and gorillas in the chat. I see you guys are already sneaking on in there. Scissors and gorillas in the chat for Mr. atobitt. I'm pretty sure people are going to be filing on in as Power Hour is approaching, and they're just going to be asking the same question. So help them out if they ask about where atobitt is. AMC has fallen to a 901 today. Just massive bleeding on the day. Oh, still roughly around that 5% mark right now, after a small resurgence from 901 now to 14 cents up to 915. GameStop also around that 5% down. We're going to explain a little bit about what we are looking at. For starters, let's take a look at Stonko Tracker. And let's look at the options chain real quick. Ooh, I can stay logged in now. I cannot stay logged in. Technology might be good, but perhaps it's not the best. Oh wait, no, so I am logged in here. And I still don't have premium membership, so they're gonna have to, so we're working with options Sonar intimately. So if you have a desire to get a premium subscription yourself as well and jump on, there's that link in the description. That's our brand new affiliate. Let's take a look at option Sonar here. So we saw that there were major deep in the money calls. These are not specifically meant to ramp GME up any which way, right? It's not supposed to bring GME up to the next milestone. These deep in the money calls we have identified as a way for cyclical FTDs to cycle through. And if you guys have missed that DD, I'm going to cover it briefly in just a second. But what you notice here is that there is a significant gamma ramp starting from $160 starting yesterday, right? There's $500,000 here, almost a full million, one full million, and then another 3/4 of a million right there, all the way up to $175. So there is a clear ramp right here. Where GameStop is falling short of that, of course, is the small put ramp down here, right? So there is from $130 all the way to $160. So we'll look at the black bar chart to see how many puts there are. Once again, we're on the Stonko tracker here, and we see that we have not yet reached our trigger price to get on the SSR. That would be 10% down on the day. For April 20th, we still have, wow, now this is an auspicious number, 420 calls expiring in the money. Very nice. And we have an additional 300,000 shares available to borrow. This is up from 0 from the beginning of today. So that's the GME data that we are trying to pay attention to and try to make sense of why this attack happened. So let me dig through Superstonk and see if there are some news that you guys have to see. But as a reminder, we did a ton of technical analysis this morning. I'm gonna releasing that video later on today. But when you guys saw that between the VWAP here, the VWAP trended above this line right there, as a brief overview of what we covered this morning. We had the VWAP trend underneath and then over our simple moving average here that I'm going to highlight here in blue. Right, this is the same case for both GME and AMC. So we have this blue line here that follows the price, agnostic of the volume, and we have this yellow line here, this orange line, that travels above the blue line because volume is not a player in this bearish decline, right? This is something that I call the cheater's ladle right here, right? This gap where the price action can bounce around. In fact, for GME specifically, we did see the price action bounce around right in between here. This is the proving grounds for people who follow technical analyses who either are bullish on the moving average or on the volumetric weighted average price, right? So that's what the purple line here of the price itself bounced in between the yellow line and the blue line. This gave us the bearish pennant moving downward here. So from a downtrend, we see this pennant right there, and that signaled that we were going to continue downward. Caught eventually by an in-between between 154 and 152, right at 153, and then we traded underneath the VWAP ever since. So into Power Hour, I'm about to do a prediction soon, but I wanted to make sure that you guys understood that that is what was going on. Kind of wish AMC had more runway, but my drawing is going to be off now. Oops. Get rid of this. If you guys have particular symbol suggestions or questions, let me know, because we're here to figure out if we can answer your questions. We have 1,000 people in here, so now it's time for me to give out the goal of today, which is 78,420 subscribers. That's what we want to see. And how close are we? Well, let's see. Whoa, we just passed 78,000! Boom! Got some dirty money in my oatmeal. So thank you guys for 78,000 of you joining us, and we need 420 more this live stream. Doesn't seem that far. Doesn't seem that far away. Right now we have 418 more to go, but I appreciate it for bringing us this far. So we have that goal, and at 1,000 likes, I'm gonna pull another of this Glenfiddich right here. I'm gonna keep it in the box until we earn it. Nice hearty pull of that Glenfiddich. Okay. Sean Fournier, people coming in already asking about Austin Tobis. Either rewind to the very beginning of this live stream or check out the pinned live chat that I put in your live chat. Okay, where did Dogecoin go? Yeah, let me take a look at Doge. People are curious about Doge. Real quick, we had Doge coming up to a high of 42 cents and change back in the 2 o'clock today. So that was about, wow, that was about like 40 minutes ago. So 40 minutes ago, Doge was looking pretty, then started a major sell-off here, right? So this is 3 times trying to be supported at 34, each time a scalp opportunity. So if you are looking to Doge to scalp, this might be a great shot. Each time Doge has fallen to 34, it has a major resurgence right away. Has there ever been a cogent explanation for why the borrow fee percent is so low? Yes, if you guys have noticed, right, 300,000 shares available to borrow, that's from 0. We were talking about that hot cake analogy. Imagine that you were selling like cold lumpy cake and it's just been sitting on the shelf all day. Let's look at if these 200,000, yeah, these 150,000 from AMC are still here at 20% interest rate, right? So that's the insanity part, is that these shares to borrow, nobody's touching them. They're just there, right? So they're either manipulating AMC through ETFs, perhaps, or through many of the other manipulation tactics that we've talked about before. But for GME, 1% to borrow these hotcakes that come out from 0 availability to this morning. So this is, let's dig around and actually figure it out. I think this one is already on the lines of that direction. Why are we still trading sideways and why we haven't launched yet from C Diggs? I remember talking to C Diggs and he mentioned he wanted to come on the show. So he said, been busy yesterday, this is April 12th, have some work on Monday, but open rest of the week at the moment. Let me know what works. So about to read your most recent TD. Let me know if you still want to come on the show. So C Diggs, we're jumping back into his DD. Not quite yet. Not quite. We have about 18 minutes until Power Hour. Get hype, ladies and gentlemen. Did I get my coin yet? Not yet. Is it under 300? Coin. Killing me. Whoa. So 312 was the bottom of today. All right, all right. Let's see if last time we checked, there wasn't enough data over on cheat code Algo for Coinbase. Let's take a look now. Yep, still not a lot of data. On the hourly, we still don't see if Coinbase is going to make a attractive entry point quite yet. We do have a 3 out of 4 buy signal when Coinbase reached 312. You see that the Bollinger Bands here, or overbought and oversold, are actually pretty darn close. They're about $10 away from each other. So if you're looking to Coinbase for a long-term investment, maybe, but if you're looking for Coinbase as a steal, not likely in the near future. Rectonite has a different alliteration for DD. Very cool. Let's see. Why we're still trading sideways away, we haven't launched. Let me see how long this is. Ooh, a YouTube video. Excuse me. Meatball's just looking up at me like, bless you. Okay, so this is coming up. GameStop deal of the day, 420. Who wants to be a millionaire? I just finished Slumdog Millionaire because of Roaring Kitty and his tweets. So Renzel seems like he apologized for his reaction. I don't even know. I only know his opinion, and I don't know exactly what reaction he had to people calling him a shill. But we made a whole video about that, and that video is coming out soon. Yeah, and Papa Sibo is also in the house saying Renzel's opinion was to keep Apes grounded. If the worst happens, it's not FUD, it's sensible. Okay. Hey guys, it's me, the bell ringing ape in front of Citadel. Oh, it's the bell ringing ape in front of Citadel. Okay, Renzo appreciation post. Great. I'm not even sure if anyone's like who called him a shill, because there's so many posts about him not being a shill. So 4 hours ago, just being punny, wrote a DD about DTC 004, and that's the regulations that we like to see, baby. So you guys are looking for new DTC rules. They're getting ready for default and bankruptcy. Just opened 3 additional netting accounts. Okay, so DTC 004. Signal for bankruptcy. Signal for hedge fund bankruptcy. Power hour. Okay, DTC 004. The background, the netting some failing whales. What does this mean? Too long didn't read. Let's take a look here. JP Morgan opened 3 additional netting accounts with the DTCC on 4/19/2021. These generally have many different purposes, although I don't believe it's coincidental regarding the rule changes, increase in liquidity, and ever-impending doom of other DTCC members. This looks like the groundwork to have means of profiting off the defaulting, overexposed members. So it looks like the DTC 004 is starting to pick up some steam. There's that. We actually have the AMC options chain as well, and there's a major expectation for AMC to cross $10 sometime soon. There's a small ramp all the way up to $10, but AMC, of course, has been hovering around that $10 range this whole week. James Cordero also watched Slumdog Millionaire. Heck yeah. Troublemaker, are you ready for some sideways trading? Woohoo! Why is sideways trading happening? I think this is great. Troublemaker, if you didn't have a swear in your comment, I could have clipped it up and get ready for it. Hold on. Who else said sideways? Only Troublemaker. Oh. Market rewards patience. That's right. So I'm just going to go through a little bit more of your questions here. Sean Fournier, the data is a cumulative metric. And unfortunately, that's why an outlier such as the squeezes that we've had earlier mess up the beta calculation. So you can be mostly negative. Hold on a second. Let's say that there is 2 markets here, right? This is the S&P 500 and our little boy GME here, mostly following the same, but then sometimes there's a massive gamma squeeze, and then sometimes another massive gamma squeeze, right? So it trends basically the same as the S&P 500, except that these outliers here make it seem like there are, inverse transactions and trends from the S&P 500. And that's not true. It's not true to an extent. But when you see like GME go up, let's say plus 1600%, and the market goes up like negative, well, actually just 7%. 7% has been the market since the beginning of 2021, but more like, if it goes like negative 2%, then that's negative beta right there, right? These two numbers are very different. I wish this eraser was better. Erase my angel of erasing. Erase for me. Okay, we're getting real close. 10 minutes until power hour, then I have to ring that bell. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Professor Meatball right there. We have you guys 411 subscribers away until we hit our live stream goal. And if you guys smash that like button, either way, it's going to be a good day no matter what. William Chu, check the pinned comment or scroll all the way back to the beginning of this live stream. Uzi Punch says happy 420. Happy 420, the best holiday of the year. Okay, so we have this DTC 004. I think this is a really important one to be able to at least cover briefly. And then why we're still trading sideways and we haven't launched yet. I think this one needs to go. Let's do it like this. Why we're still trading sideways and we haven't launched yet. When I read this direction, do I actually look like I'm reading it? Perfect. That's what I like to see. All right. 8 minutes until power hour, guys. Get excited. Moon Platoon. Every single day I have to grab the Glenfiddich and say, when is the squeeze? And yet, we continue to trade sideways. Well, let's jump right into CDig's newest DD. Give him a thumbs up. Make sure that you understand that he was the one who wrote this DD. He is not a financial advisor. Go into the description and find his DD description link and then head on over and give him an upvote. Pancake Courtney just joined as a member of the YouTube channel, which means you can as well. All you need to do is press that join button next to the subscribe button where we are heading off to 100,000 subscribers in the near future. Would like to see you join us. Let's cover why we're still trading sideways and why we haven't launched. This is going to be a girthy little DD full of little nuggets of helpful financial education. So the most important thing that you can do is just sit back, relax, and watch until the end. Here we go. We've made it through an exciting week of suspense only to end up with yet another day of sideways trading. I like to think about why we have not launched yet based on the bits and pieces that we do know. In this post, they'll be rehashing some of their earlier posts for folks who haven't read them and also examining their earlier thoughts in the context of the information that we have come across over the last 2 weeks. One of their favorite topics in science is black holes, okay? So how do we know where to look? Even though we can't see a black hole and even though it could be millions of light years away, we can observe how bodies of mass interact with it, how it affects the space around it, the energy that is dissipated from the black hole, and other signatures of its existence. So the GME mother of all short squeezes is a black hole in more ways than one. We can only speculate on what is happening based on how the different entities in the system are interacting. This is an important point. And actually, let me see if I have my whiteboard up here. Nope. But this does allow me to draw on here, which will do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to open up a completely blank document. And that way, hold on, can I? I can use it as a whiteboard. Please, can I? Yes, okay, great. Beautiful. Make this whiteboard here. Boom, boom, boom. Epic Pen, where are you? All desktops. Great, but now we have some intruders. We're just gonna have to do this. Okay, that wasn't that hard. So what exactly are we theorizing here? Well, the general sense is that if there is a chart with a history of short squeezes, let's say that that was the January squeeze, that is the March squeeze for GME, and now we're on the path to wherever. It doesn't really seem like we're going anywhere, but slightly downward and to the right, we can look at the signals that we originally saw. For example, the MACD passing over the signal lines each time right before the chance that we have for a short squeeze. Maybe the MACD crossed over right here every single time before the squeeze started. Right here, again, crossing over right before that squeeze starts. So there is a hole right around here that the black hole should fill. But when will it fill it? We're going to have to dive into this document to find out. Who are these other entities circling this black hole? Well, on the page 84, on this S4 filing for merger with Apex Clearing, we have plaintiffs allege that Apex, along with 30 other brokerages, trading firms, and clearing firms, including Morgan Stanley, E-Trade, Interactive Brokers, Charles Schwab, Robinhood, and Barclays, Citadel, and DTCC, engaged in a coordinated conspiracy in violation of antitrust laws. So, while this is alleged at this moment, what is clear is that some law firms believe that there's a case against multiple entities, including the DTCC, for conspiring to shut down the January 28th squeeze. So set aside that the idea that Citadel or the GME shorts alone can suppress the price of GME. If this were the case, we would not have had a January and February spikes in the first place, since Citadel and the shorts alone could have stopped it. Make sure I don't block Meatball here. As they mentioned in their previous post, rather than think of a situation as Citadel is shorting the market, or it's a battle between short hedge funds and long whales, the DTC, OCC, and SEC, then the shorts are preparing for the squeeze. So we see this vacuum right now where there should be a mother of all short squeezes on the way, and yet why is it that we cannot see it? Well, we're going to have to look at the other indicators around the black hole here. Literally every major entity in the global banking is entangled in this through the DTCC. Even the non-DTCC members are as entangled as they use DTCC members for clearing their trades. Once again, it's the money cartel. It's very, very difficult to be able to pass through the money cartel without fully seeing into what they want you to see. Looks like we're coming in on a cross section here, right? Apex Clearing, whether they're a member of the DTC or the OCC, they all are. How are they preparing? The fallout from the squeeze is that there are multiple DTCC members who are going to fail and default. These risky uncles that we have talked about before, right? When this happens, a DTC or corresponding subsidiary, hereafter just referred to as DTCC, will step in to manage the default through recovery and wind down procedures, which are documented in their membership agreements. During the squeeze, DTCC will intervene and provide immediate liquidity when a member defaults. In turn, DTCC will use their assets of the defaulting members as collateral for that liquidity. Those assets from the defaulting member will then be auctioned off to recover those loans. Let me explain this in animation. Let's say that everybody has a piece of this pie that makes up the DTCC, right? We have this piece, we might have this piece, right? So someone might be larger, like a big Citadel kind of character here, and we might have this piece from a Melvin or so, right? This is just the amount of assets they have. In fact, this is just a small piece of a much larger group of illiquid assets. If you guys remember the SLR rule, the supplementary liquidity rule, this required that we have this as a numerator over this as a denominator, or everything in blue over as a denominator, and that required that this liquid part be larger, thanks to the pandemic easing up. So now that we have a good understanding of what kinds of money is on the table, this is the DTC's money, right? The DTC is the head of this cartel, and if, for example, a Melvin decides that they are going to do a risky business, they might lose out on all of their liquid part and then start to creep into the next part in terms of their debt obligations. That's how you default, right? That's how you start losing, and you can even experience this yourself if you get margin called as a investor, or even as a as part of the bank, you could end up getting bankrupt. And that's one of the other options that you could see in your life that the hedge funds are starting to see coming up very closely in their rear view mirror. So from there, they are already deciding that some of these risky uncles, for example, these Melvins here, are going to now require to report their risky business a little bit more, but also that they're going to start divvying up other people's pies to pay for Melvin's share in case they are starting to make a scary but expected realization that when the squeeze happens, they're not going to have enough money to actually keep it safe, right? right? The entire market is at risk right here. So here is a little bit more of the verbiage from the actual documentation from 004. Let's talk about why this is interesting. There are generally three views on what is about to happen. One, the entire system and the banks are going to go belly up because of the scenario described in the Everything Short DD by atobitt, right? He could not join on the day that he said he was going to come on because he is wanting this DD to be the best of the best. And it's going to be exclusive still to this channel. He's going to release it and he's going to talk about it here live. We're just going to have to give him his space because it's not going to happen today. Number two, the banks are reacting to increased liquidity requirements stemming from last year and the expiration of the SLR, which is something we just talked about. Number three, a few entities are probably going to collapse due to overexposed positions, and other entities are moving into position to profit from that collapse. A sense is that number one is a bit too extreme, having gone through 2001 and 2008, they have learned one lesson. The rich will not allow themselves and the system that props them up to fail because they're too dependent on the system to support their bottom lines and lifestyle. Now, that actually is one of the most important pieces to remember, is that if you are worried about the system overall, remember that they live on this ship too. And the rich are not going to let go of their lifestyles that easily. Let's see. So let's skip through a little bit more. They think it's a combination of number two and number three. What if, number one, you are a non-defaulting member, as in you're one of the good kids in the family, right? You're not a risky uncle. You're this red pie right here that didn't ever hurt anybody, that is not going to try and bankrupt GME or AMC. You're just part of the DTC because you need this insurance. You need enough money that the DTC is willing to pay on your behalf in case you ever end up in a bad situation. But now it seems like you are likely going to have to start paying for risky uncle's drinking and gambling problem. Now, number two, you know that there's going to be member defaults, which you do. And number three, you know that there will be an auction for their assets at market discount. How would you prepare for this? Perhaps you'd have cash on hand to meet liquidity requirements and emerge from any collapse flush with assets. How might you go about this? So we have a couple of links to talk exactly about what Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley are going to do. And then the curious case of the increased short volume of BlackRock's IXG ETF, which is a basket of finance and banking stocks. These are all resources that you can find in this DD. Furman, Hassan, thank you for the super supporting the show and coming on the live stream. You guys can do it as well, right? It's perfectly free. What is important to understand is the difference between short interest and short volume. Squeeze Metrics white paper does a great job explaining this. So we have here, this means that whenever a market maker fills an investor's buy order, the MM is facilitating the trade by shorting shares. Thus, short volume is actually representative of investor buying volume. Okay? Furman is asking a question about atobitt. Check the pinned comment in the live chat, or just scroll back to the very beginning of this live stream. The purpose of a market maker is to provide liquidity. Say you want to buy a bunch of IXG. So this is just a little bit more about the ETF IXG here. It's another signal about where the black hole is that we cannot see. How do they know that there will be a default, and who will default? Excuse me. There's a little bit of interesting text on page 12 on the 004 documentation. In light of observations from simulation of participant defaults and other analyses, the DTC's multi-member closeout simulation exercise. They used a computer. So they have an existing model that can simulate market conditions, and they already simulated the squeeze and the aftermath. So their assumption is that they're going to have some idea of the probabilities at which their member entities are going to fail, when they will fail, how they will fail. Basically, you don't know that whether or not they know, but it really sounds like that they have some pretty impressive algorithms to tell you when they're going to fail. Proposed change, a little bit more verbiage here that shouldn't be directly relevant to the question of why have we been trading sideways? What are we waiting for in terms of the mother of all short squeezes? What does this have to do with trading sideways? Finally, we get to the meat. 2 weeks ago, he posted the same DD because they were puzzled at why we're stuck in a monetary Lagrange point. And he stated then, what you can take away from this is that we will not see significant price movement up or down for the foreseeable future until OCC 003 and 004 are in place. You're literally fighting against all of Wall Street, even the GME longs. There are literally no point buying deep out of the money options. Hint, hint. If you play with options, those $800 options are not very helpful until there's a whiff of 004 and 003 getting close to implementation. We will keep trading sideways, borrow weight will be inexplicably low, volume will be absent, etc. until DTC and OCC members are protected and they let off the brakes. Okay, so we need to make sure that 004 actually has a plan to be instituted, which is the point of this update. I had to point out with the timing and coordination of the 2 prior drops that now we have a third set of data sets to consider. 1, the dip to $120 coordinated with Q4 earnings. If you guys remember that, we were covering that live when the dip actually happened. The dip to $160 coordinated with the positive Q1 preliminary results and almost immediate return to stasis. And number 3, the slow dip to under $40 possibly coordinated with number 1, Melvin's Q1 results, number 2, Sherman being denied his shares and now being replaced. If you guys remember that, George Sherman, the CEO of GME, underperformed and then were denied a good amount of his promised shares because he underperformed. He is a brick and mortar Home Depot kind of CEO, not an e-commerce CEO. Early discharge of their long-term debt, right? They are planning to be 100% debt free. And DFV's options being exercised. So it seems like we're back to sitting on a new Lagrange point and trading sideways again. So what here, Q4 events, right? Q4 results. We saw the earnings call really dropped us down to 120. Q1 preliminary results here. And then Melvin Q1 loss. We saw that they had a major loss. We reported that over the weekend. Sherman share surrender and step down. Early debt discharge and DFV exercising their options. As they stated before, they think that the variety of tools we see at play are all part of the arsenal being deployed by multiple parties coordinated to keep this strap down until the non-defaulting members are firewalled. The deep in the money calls, the dark pool trades, and all of it plainly visible to DTC and the SEC, yet no action is being taken. So what about the share recall or insert catalyst, right? We're waiting for catalysts that are not the 004. If you are waiting for that, it seems like Mr. C. Diggs has a response for you. The conjecture has been that we will be waiting for 003 and 004 as long as possible because these 2 codify key changes to the OCC member agreement to contain the fallout of the defaulting members. Basically, they need to cut this ripcord before they can let the body go. Right now, they're just holding onto the body right now. This is the simplest. Ape did not understand this post. If you guys are in that camp, right now, the DTC has no ability to turn around and say, these are the people that are risky, these are people who aren't, and the non-defaulting members are going to have these privileges, and the defaulting members are going to have these privileges. This is the current way that this insurance money cartel works, is that everybody puts their money together, and then we'll just have to use some people's monies for some other people's. Before 004 actually gets put into place, we don't have the ability to have clear outlines of who wins and who loses, and that scares the DTCC. So they're currently waiting until that happens, so to push the ripcord and push the defaulting members out of the DTCC. Basically blows the auction process wide open. In an ideal world, BR and Cohen want to wait until 004 is codified to launch, and in fact, perhaps thought that everything could have been finalized by now and would want to ignite this launch sequence. SIG threw a wrench into this by objecting to 003, thereby pushing out its finalization, which would have been April 10th. Sets us up for potentially this week if 004 has also been finalized, but now could go out to May 31st. That's why we don't do dates here, right? If you guys heard April 10th earlier, then you would have been sorely mistaken and sorely disappointed. So what will BlackRock and GME longs do? Just as a quick note here. This is where it gets interesting. Here's Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock on CNBC, talking about Reddit and GameStop. BlackRock knows what's going on at the highest level. So we've covered BlackRock's role in this in previous DDs. I'm not going to cover it right now, so you guys can go check it out in either this source post or go into the DDs that we've covered in the past here about BlackRock specifically. What happened on March 16th and why have we traded sideways since? right? 003, notice of filing and immediate effectiveness for a proposed rule change to remove the requirement for participants to submit monthly position confirmations. So now they have to start giving it to us on the daily. Vicious.mob, sir, this is a casino. Good super chat. The key change is that the DTC participants were required to reconcile and confirm their records of their positions with the DTC's records of their positions on a monthly basis. Now it has to be on a daily basis. So this is one of the first rules that we've covered in terms of DTC making moves and helping us change the game here. And yet that lawsuit is still holding DTC as a defendant, as someone who has done wrong. And we can start seeing now that they are kind of like the lesser of two evils, trying their best to cover themselves, but certainly not guiltless. So after January 28th, all parties have a sense of magnitude of this event, but probably could not get enough transparency to make the right decisions. It's hard to coordinate illegal activities between members that are, so far away out here. So finally, I know we have gone through a great amount, but there's still verbiage on this DD about 004 that you should go check out. Too long didn't read. What should Ape do? Their conjecture is that in an ideal world, 004 is the key piece to get into place to redefine their liquidation of failing members. But we may now be pushing up against the calendar, and Ryan Cohen, GME, and BlackRock may be forced to play their cards rather than wait. Or they could be wrong and everything gets blown down tomorrow. So once again, I see Diggs. We've talked to him on Reddit. He was on board back at the 12th of April to come on the show. Maybe we'll have him on the show in a future live stream to just give a little bit more thoughts of why he is so darn bullish on the 004. But as a reminder, like a black hole, we cannot actually see it because even light does not escape, but we can observe how the mass bodies around it interact and how it distorts the space that it occupies. A beautiful analogy and a very well constructed DD. So once again, really quick, thank you for those of you who made it all the way to this part of the video. Thank you for smashing a like. We're trying to get this video up to 1,200 likes so that the YouTube algorithm can be soundly defeated. And if those of you had already pressed that join button next to the subscribe button or the Patreon link, hey, that's why you guys get to see your names in the end of this video, and I will see all of you in the money. Okay, back to the stonks. Thank you for the patience. So we were tracking GME here, which has the first 13 minutes of power hour basically just trended completely sideways. If not downward, pushing against 154. So that's not much. Let me get rid of this Melvin drawing here. Not much to look at. Over on the other side, we have AMC pushing up against its VWAP, but likely going to be rejected after. J. Mauricio Bautista, SOS, AMC, GME, Sundial, all taking hits? I couldn't see what you said. Hits or rips? If you guys are asking about atobitt, go ahead and check that pinned chat in the live chat, or check out, just go to Twitter. Andrew Mo Money on Twitter and check that out. The live update. Basically, Too long didn't read. He's not quite ready. Which is okay. We're giving him the time he needs to make sure that this is good, because he says it juicy. Okay, well, yeah, sure. Let's just start over. So for the rest of the day, we're likely looking at GME to start playing around with the VWAP here. AMC has already started to push above its VWAP with the amount of utilization and availability. I'm imagining that this is going to start pushing up towards the next level of resistance. But ultimately, I'm imagining that it's going to break downward here and press back down to the 917 range. For GME, I'm imagining that this stock is going to press down on 154, perhaps get rejected by its EMA, or continue onward to hit its VWAP here. Either way, a lot of sideways trading, just as predicted. Vermont, I hope you got your question answered, and I appreciate the supers. Chris says, Microvision opinions. Sure. Take a look. Mavis. Whoa, hold on a sec. So what we got here? Mavis I bought, I think I want to say right here, wherever we got the 4 for 4 buy signal here. We're getting another buy signal, but that's strange because we're so close to overbought. Getting another buy signal, but this is not a 4 for 4. So as of right now, Mavis is running a risk of getting overbought. Let me see where my position is. Oh, it's happening. AMC is moving up. Out to the Mavis right now, like cool off on it before we jump back in. I'm gonna put a sweater on. Clover, sure. We'll take a look at Clover in just a second. Sweater game, sweater game, sweater game. Okay, so in order for me to buy $500 more GME and AMC, we are looking for 404 more subscribers. 404. Jezebel says, I propose a VWAP in the tune of Mbop by our man. Remember, 10,000 likes, and I'm gonna improv a VWAP in the tune of Mbop. Annie says Robinhood just promised me they wouldn't block selling. Not sure I believe him, but nice to hear. Yeah, wouldn't believe him with a 24.5-foot pole. Socks Malone, thank you for the super. Out of the 235 other times the AMC was down 4.8% during the trading day, 58% of the time it traded higher by the close of the same day's market. Okay, so that's almost a 50-50 a 50-50 guess. But fair. That's pretty good data. Doge appears to be in a consolidation trend. Can you verify? Of course not financial advice. So Doge, like I said last time, the last time that it's gone here to 35 cents, it has shot back up. This time it doesn't seem like it is as bullish as before. However, I still think that this means that Dogecoin, you see how, notice how these are not waves? These are just like a bunch of squiggles. This squiggle all the way downward, even if you zoom in, you don't see a wave here. So this squiggle has just started moving downward here. So an actual correction, an actual corrective wave has multiple parts. So we're likely going to see a small rise and followed by another subwave of this length. Of course, that's on a stock. So in my opinion, I think that Dogecoin could be an interesting scalp if it actually started to take off here. I would be very careful about getting burned by Dogecoin at this rate because people are starting to feel like a concerted effort to either like religiously support Dogecoin or say Dogecoin is a distraction. So Excuse me, I gotta sneeze. Oh man, what's all this sneezing going on? Brick Johnson says, my shares are on TD Ameritrade. I think that's fine. It's just that I would recommend opening up a free account of WeBull just so that you can have a way to access the market. Like fund it with a little bit of buying power so that you have a way to buy, like back in the January squeeze where so many people were locked out of the buying ability, whereas some other people who funded their accounts on other brokers were able to buy in. And they couldn't. Am I a music man? I do love music. Gosh, I love music so much. Nelson says, can you do a GameStop analysis? I did one. It's it has already uploaded, and now I'm gonna release it in just an hour or two, maybe an hour or two. But it's gonna be so good. You guys are gonna be like, whoa. That looks like the technical analysis from this morning. And it is. Paul says, too much sneezing, no squeezing. That's true. Too much squeezing, not enough sneezing. I don't know when to release certain clips anymore, because some of these clips are really good, but they're only like 30 seconds long. Maybe I'll crowdsource it to you guys. What do you guys think? For example, we have this video over here. That's a 30-second video of me grabbing that cash. This is fake money, by the way. Wow, I'm wearing the same outfit. That's it. I didn't even mean to wear the same outfit. I picked these randomly, like in the dark. Wonder why everything's so grayed out. Probably because of Epic Pen. So it looks like my prediction for AMC is looking pretty good. For GME, yet to come true. SOS printing. Let's take a look at SOS. Wow, SOS is really printing. This is on the minute chart. On the minute chart, we see there actually isn't a strong 4 out of 4 buy signal. But if you bought in, let's say around here, about 360, we've gone all the way up to 440. Whoa. Whoa, mama. It's pretty impressive. 1 hour. Is that a 30% up? Here's that 4 out of 4 buy signal. Wow, one of you said SOS earlier today, I would have bought. From 368 to 447. Wow, that's money right there. So this is a runaway stock. It's already started to exit its Bollinger Band for being oversold. So I would say this is already run away like 30%. Boy, I would have loved to make 30% today. Whenever you don't look at the markets, you lose out. SOS is getting like 500 more mining rigs. Got it. So we talked about exit strategies too. And we talked about Rensol's drama from earlier today that he actually apologized for, which is all good now. I don't think he needed to apologize, but that's fine. Yes, people still asking about Austin Tobit. Austin, there was an update on Twitter. You guys can see a little snippet of our conversation. And basically just, he's not ready yet, which is okay. SOS squeeze, his tone lock. No need to spam it, we can see it. Let's take a look at Stonko Tracker for SOS. This is the option chain. Stonko Tracker. It only tracks certain companies. Stocks. Oh, AMC or GME. At least we have dark mode. There we go. Ah, soothing. Yes. James Cordero says cannot trade SOS from Canada. Aw, I'm sorry, bro. That's sad to hear. 35 more minutes until the end of today's day. Felt like a pretty okay day today. Overall, just 5% down. AMC is already back up to 4% down. So there's that bounce for GME. Basically, there are people who refuse to believe that GME is worth less than 154. That's what resistance and supports are. It's an indicator for a group of people that the stock is worth more than a certain amount. Here, so AMC is tracking on the prediction pretty well. Official payback. I cannot give you official financial advice. Aw, JB, my day has been well. I appreciate that. Yeah, John De Silva says, oh, you know what? I should just link Austin's House of Cards update, which he says right there. As much as I'm doing it for you, he's been up all night, taking a serious day to himself. A day for you guys, because he's been working hard. Amy Gilbert says, do you have any information about INX token, the SEC registered token IPO? We've been talking about INX. Let's see if we have some news about INX. Okay, let's see if we have news here. No news. I'm gonna find my own news, dang. INX company cryptocurrency. INX announces April 22nd as the official last day of its token offering. Ooh. So that's in 2 days. Okay. April 22nd will be the last day that the INX token is offered for sale by the company at 90 cents per token IPO price. So what I'll say about this kind of crypto craze is that it's a speculative at best investment. And that's the dangerous part of investing on a craze. Look, my prediction working so well. I'm gonna hook this, there we go that way. So what I'll be careful of is that any of these non-established coins is likely going to fall in the same wave in terms of volatility and really burning yourself as the Dogecoin phenomenon. Love Doges, right? My Doge is right here. We actually have a whole Doge video coming out, it's clipped up later, that we're gonna give you a little bit more understanding of Doge. Do I think those squeeze for AMC and GME are related? Yes, and the reason why, we can do a quick whiteboarding here, is that when the squeeze for one of these happens, it's going to cause a margin call for the company that could be, okay, how do I do this? So I have this, so each of these is a different hedge fund. There we go. So this hedge fund, and this is how many shorts a hedge fund has. So this is like, this hedge fund has shorted this much GME, this hedge fund has shorted this much AMC, or maybe this hedge fund thinks that AMC is worse. So the yellow is AMC, the blue is GME, and these are two different hedge funds. When this hedge fund, I should use a different color. When this hedge fund defaults, right, because they cannot afford their margin call, essentially. They get margin called and they say, hey, you need to give us more money because the price of GME and AMC are going up too high. This company is going to add their GME and AMC like buybacks into the price movement of both AMC and GME. And we will never know, well, we will know, but like we're not sure which of these two is going to cause the margin call, right? But if one of them does, the other one is going to have to be covered as well. And that coerced buying action is going to cause more hedge funds, perhaps this one is next, to get margin called as well. That's the mixed squeeze. That's why GME and AMC are related. Because if one of these hedge funds that have shorted both goes bankrupt, gets defaulted, defaults or gets margin called, then it's going to be a lot more likely that another similar stock is going to default as well. And a similar hedge fund is going to default as well. This is the world's worst eraser. Dormammu, I've come to erase. Guess I can't erase, so I'm just going to move this over here. I'll move it underneath so you can see the prediction, but you can also see the price action too. Oh, my body. Please call Melbourne Capital on the stream. Hey, Johnny says, any thoughts on HCMC after they win the patient infringement lawsuit? Also, if you have the time, look at MTSL. I think I got the time. I think I have the time. So let's take a look at HCMC. We took a look early this morning, I think, or early this week at least. And then the MTSL. Is next. $500 likes, almost 1,000. Remember, 1,000 gets the Glenfiddich. HCMC didn't have any strong buy signals, and yet there was a weird like price gap upward that was like immediately rejected. I just want to see if I missed anything. So this gap upward is from 0.0, basically a 1/10 of a cent all the way up to a 1/20th of a cent. So not a 1/10 of a cent to a 1/5 of a cent, yeah, and then back down. There's a sell signal here. I don't have many thoughts on penny stocks, especially ones less than a penny. But we can continue looking at it if it ever becomes more than a penny. Let's look at MTSL. So this is a stock that is not a penny stock. Look at that buy signal right there. Beautiful buy signal, 4 out of 4 right here. And then you would have jumped on board 368 all the way up to 638. I was like, oh my God, I got dyslexic for a second because those numbers That's a 40% climb. But you would have had to sell during the pre-market. So you would have had to wake up early and be like, oh god, the 2 out of 4 soft sell signal here. You would have had to take it, 559, get out, and then come out a winner. So if you got that, you would have been 40% up on the day, and then you've been a day trader. But as of right now, we're trying to actually make some strong long-term moves. Not very clear, although these Bollinger Clouds have now really expanded thanks to the volatility for the last few days. So the volatility might continue on towards today. If this becomes a buy signal soon, which you can notice, the squeeze indicator is starting to get, the histogram is starting to get much larger, equal size to the one before, right before we got that indicator. So this is basically the half of this that we're waiting for. This green means go, and this is also the same level as when we saw that green means go later. So pay attention to cheat code. Gives you an easy way to look at the markets. Will it be wise to buy in CCIV from a TA standpoint? So just purely like ignoring the fact that they still need to sell a car, I think that really you have to pay attention to whether or not CCIV is going to be like a sensible long-term play when Lucid Motors actually does sell a car. What's stopping the DTCC from postponing the mother of all short squeezes indefinitely? Well, the SEC, for example, Gary Gensler's on the job. We also have lawyers that are suing the DTCC. But mostly, it's that they can't control the price. So the DTCC isn't the one. The relationship between the DTCC is kind of like embarrassed parent. I think is a really good analogy. An embarrassed parent might still, support their child, even if they're embarrassed. Which is likely why they have been sued for their role in the January 28th squeeze endeavor to stop the mother of all short squeezes. However, it doesn't mean that they're not going to chastise and maybe even punish their child, which is the DTC regulations from 003 to 005 and 801 onward. That's the rules that we were waiting for the child to be fully chastised. I think that's a really good analogy. King of analogies here. Scissors in the chat for analogies. Okay. Excuse me. Hey, Johnny says, thanks for the TA. Here's another donation for the cone of shame. Forgot the like button. Can't forget the like button. Here's the cone of shame, Meatball. Meatball, so cute. It's Doge Day. Is it Doge Day? When is Doge Day? Is that 420? And some good cold coffee. PayPal launches crypto trading on Venmo. Oh, shoot. Crypto trading on Venmo. That's gonna be dope. Can you imagine? He's like, hey, can you Venmo me? That's actually humongous. I think we need to at least watch a little bit of this. I can't believe PayPal did that. Because now people can be like, can you Ethereum me like 20 bucks?
CNBC is a, you are commentating about the markets and about the debt.
Oh. This is an interesting one from C-Dig's earlier DD.
Hey. We didn't have any conversations around Reddit and GameStop and what does that mean with our clients either. And yet it represented a major component of the markets. And it's fascinating to watch. So I do believe there's components in the financial markets about crypto that is real, that is growing. But if you're asking me specifically about long-term investing from sovereign wealth funds, from pension funds, retirement services, from big family offices. The conversation about crypto is a very minor conversation compared to so many other conversations.
Get away, Shep. Okay, so yeah, this is Shep. Get out of my frame. All right, PayPal launches crypto trading.
No, that's true. It's kind of $1 on those currencies. They can buy it right there in their Venmo account.
What?
I just checked mine. Currently not able to do that, though I presume this functionality will be rolled out throughout the day. Maybe I need an app update. Maybe I haven't gotten
Buy, hold, hold. Look at the underline on hold.
yet. But broader adoption of, I think, Julie, I think about it as nickel and diming your way into.
I don't really want these guys to talk about it. I just want to see the Venmo actual like video. There we go. It's a minute and a half. This is how we should consume this. Crypto on Venmo.
Venmo has always been the fast, easy, social way to pay and get paid. Now, you can use it to try out cryptocurrency in the same fast, easy, social way. We give you the power to buy, hold, and sell a few different types of cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more, right in the Venmo app. You can start with as little as $1, a fraction of a crypto.
Wow.
And even use your Venmo balance to buy it. Once you have some, watch it and see how its value changes. When you want to sell or buy more, make it happen with a few taps, all without leaving Venmo. Managing crypto on Venmo is designed to be, well, as easy as everything else you do on Venmo. Buy. So
this is contract for differencing, which is not you actually holding the crypto. It's them pretending like you hold the crypto, which is actually how it works on WeBull and Robinhood as well. Where's my Epic pen? Here it is. So essentially it's that, look at this chart, and they're gonna be like, look at this chart, this is the price of the stock, this is the price of the crypto or the price of the stock, look at it go, right? And whenever you buy it, they're just gonna write down what you bought, like they're gonna buy it here. This is where Robinhood got into a little bit of scandal, because it seemed like they were using CFD as well, it's contract for differencing. Because if they take a note that you bought it here, then whenever you sell it, they'll just pay you the difference or charge you the difference. They're not going to actually buy the crypto on your behalf. And that's contract for differencing. That's why people say it's a little bit, you know, like it's in the spirit of it to actually buy the crypto itself. But not necessarily, because this, for all intents and purposes, is the same. It's just that you're not actually owning any crypto. That's a good way to put it. But yeah, I think that's huge. It would be even huger. Why did it take away all of my... Oh, took away my predictions. Well, you guys saw them. They're likely going to... Oh, use yellow. Likely going to try and touch this VWAP here, rejected here. And now that this has actually supported above the VWAP, so this was the... That's the trend that I was expecting, right? It could actually start reaching up to new limits here. AMC is actually in a pretty good place. Oh, this is actually the world's worst eraser. Jim Cramer goes through the self-checkout and thanks the machine for giving him a receipt. Okay. That's pretty good burn. Speaking of Jim Cramer, I think there is a video we have yet to see. Hold on. Where it be? It be here. Brief overview of blah blah blah. Oh yeah, there was the GameStop executive team and board of director updates. That was cool. Look at that. 15 minutes until the day is over. Very curious to see what coins they're going to be offering. It's going to be like Bitcoin, Ethereum, like XRP maybe. Gonna put a little Ripple in there. That's probably it. Yeah, my GME was almost perfect. I agree. I agree. This is how you you do the TA. Looks like someone's trying to sell 350 shares of AMC at 100 grand. 100 grand. You know, Renzel got in huge trouble for even insinuating that there could be a chance that 10 million is not on the table. Jeez. Gotta remember who our friends are. We got the GameStop executive team and board of directors update. You just scroll on through. Bob Freeman's like, I'm concerned about how much my neck has to turn. Yeah, my neck does have to turn like all over here. I gotta look at all over here. Meatball, your neck okay? Giving me the side eye. Master of the side eye here. Oh, you good? There we go. AMC recap. It down. It's not even down that much. They're both now at like 3.5% up. The GME is pushing past its VWAP here. Whoa. GME on a rip. GME on a rip. Not a drill. Not a drill. Lady with the baby. Let me just push through that VWAP here, so we're likely going to see a little bit of bounce, happy bouncing right here. Bouncing baby boy. AMC, on the other hand, can't decide whether or not it wants to go back to the VWAP. There you go. Okay. Okay, where are we at in terms of our goal? Oh, okay, so we have 397 more in 11 minutes. That's how many subscribers we need in 11 minutes. See if we can do it. I believe, guys. I believe, I believe, I believe. GME continuing to push, so this is a bullish moment for GME at the end of the day. Meatball the show sniffing dog. Meatball, do you run a Twitter account behind my back? One that has more followers than me? How could you? Give me $200, let's go. You notice that Drew 40 and Phil don't have the same badge. That's because we have a new badge that we're still working on, but they look like this. We got Meatball, bronze, and we got silver, gold, platinum. Ooh, and then this one and this one. We're still playing around with it. It's hard to see. That's why we're still going to have to play around with it a little bit more. Yeah, Meatball coins. So GME trending pretty much as expected. Lightning quick recap for the executive team here. We got George Sherman stepping down by July 31st. We got GameStop's board of directors reduced to 9 members following the annual meeting. And then ex-CMO Chris Holmeister and George Sherman forfeited 700,000 shares. Oh no, that's a ton. Well, it's not, at least it's not millions of shares, but 700,000 shares. That's no bueno. That is, how many is that? That is 3.5 times as many shares as Deep Effing Value has. Ton. What? Hold on. I saw a little piece of news in the live chat. I gotta look at this. Holy shit. Killing me here. Oh, we don't know what it is yet. Okay. 3:30. I think that's like 1:30. So it's about 30 minutes. Sweet. No, I'm not gonna stream the verdict. This is the Stonks channel. Aha. So, Mr. VWAP, will you support our GME today? ML says, send me your concepts. I'll make you some cool 3D coins for free. Heck yeah. ML. Wait, ML. Well, if you're still there, ML, it's andrewmobusiness@gmail.com. ML. The verdict is in. We like the stock. That's true. Important look at sci-fi. I think you misspelled sci-fi. Or what is SFYF? Oh, largest ETF holder of AMC had all buying volume yet went straight down today. Utilization 100. The reason, yes, we've been talking about utilization 100%, and that is going to be one of the filthier tactics that we have seen so far. AMC is being manipulated right before us. Please, VWAP Kenobi, you're our only hope. Yeah, see? VWAP Kenobi's doing his thing. Simple Chris is really talking about the Mbop idea. Remember, that's gonna happen at 10,000 likes. One of these streams, we get 10,000 likes, we're singing the Mbop song with VWAP instead. Can you cover what coins Venmo is gonna offer? I don't know. I don't know the answer. They said Ethereum and Bitcoin. You're likely gonna see the other top two. Whichever ones BlockFi has, you're probably gonna see it. Probably there's gonna be a stable coin as well. Look at him. What a sweetheart. I'm assuming these crypto companies can offer that kind of interest because of the tax incentives on crypto right now. I would like to talk to an actual BlockFi. You know, it would be cool to get BlockFi on the phone here. To ask them exactly why they allow 8.6% interest. GME go burr. GME is going burr. The prediction is being predicted pretty much spot on. Okay, where's that? Ryan Cohen right there. Really got that same smile. Copy Cohen. Co-founder and CEO of Chewy, acting manager at RC Ventures LLC, education at Montreal, dropped out. College dropout. Wow. That's the most famous people, the most brilliant people. College dropouts. I am jacked for you, Atobitt's new DD. He says it is huge. Yeah, I'm also really excited. Have any other guests lined up? Not really. Atobitt's kind of like a co-host on this show, so that's why he's much more of a regular figure. If you guys do have guests that you would like to have come on the show, more than welcome to talk to them. Tom. Boozy pun. Make money with Doge to buy GME as I did. Chief Financial Officer is currently Diana Sadege, who is the interim CFO at GameStop. As a reminder, this is a lot of people, but more importantly, about how many people are from these companies. 5 out of 5, 5 out of 10 Chewy, 5 out of 10 Amazon, Zulily, QVC, and then Arteza. Looking pretty hot. Jacob Shelton is saying, can you apply any depth to the theory that the catalyst for the squeeze is buying? Yeah, buying the rips? Yeah, that would definitely help the squeeze. Yes. We've talked about that in the beginning. If you have the means, buying the squeeze is pretty darn helpful. Buying the dips, but buying the rips is the game plan for actually allowing the squeeze to happen. You can bring Mark Cuban on? Heck yeah. I can bring Mark Cuban on. I'll take Mr. Wonderful, God. For gosh sakes. Christopher Katsev says, walking the dog and saw a shooting star in the night sky. Must be a sign. You're walking the dog right now? You're watching the stream? That's very cool. I want to see a shooting star. Oh. Charlie from Zip Trader. Ding ding ding, market is closing. So my GME prediction, pretty spot on. Didn't see the last second ripperoni upward, but today GME has closed at 158.53. It's a 3.5% down on the day. Aftermarket, it is currently struggling right where its VWAP brought it. Now already down almost a percentage point. Let's see where after hours will bring it to continue on. AMC is closed at 927. That's 404. It could have been 420. but it's 4.04% down on the day. 26 million, just one of the lowest volume, slowest sideways trading days we've seen in a good amount of time. GME, less than 5 million in volume, 4.5 million today. And since we saw 0 shares available for borrowing earlier today, we're likely have these two stocks maxed out their credit card, so to speak, for their for the amount of shorts that have been thrown at these. Good boys and girls, AMC and GME is going to continue the story, but you don't have to. Remember, this video needs your comment on it after it's done. So when the live stream is over, make sure to come back, leave a comment, proves that you were here, helps out the algorithm. Also, if you guys aren't aware, we are just playing around with the financial basics, right? We're working on creating more educational content, specifically around technical trading. So we have the very first one that I recorded like 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks at this rate. And we have the next one, which is going to be about exit strategies and identifying where is a good exit strategy, because it's starting to become a bit more and more relevant now that more and more people are waiting for the squeeze to actually happen. So we're going to clip up some of these videos. We're going to say thank you for those of you who came to hang out with us twice today. Right? You don't normally stream twice in a row. We're going to keep doing these daily live streams, but we are considering having a switch up, right? Because it is kind of a lot of work. It's kind of exhausting. But at the same time, it's very rewarding to be able to live, breathe, and eat the market with you guys every single day. So appreciate you guys and the time that you guys spent. Appreciate the people that put their money where their mouth is and join the Moon Platoon, the Space Legend tier, or the Gorillionaire tier by pressing the join button next to the subscribe button, or by going down to the Patreon link. There are many, many links down below. A lot of them are free, like for $250 of free BlockFi with Bitcoin on BlockFi, and 2 free stocks on WeBull. Otherwise, you could look at the sponsors of this show, such as Tiblio for options, options Sonar for looking at the option chain, and of course, cheat code for getting a beginner's to expert level of indicator simplification for you to become a better trader, right? And some people have already said it paid for itself. For now,